In this video, we are going to look for the scientific method in Rudolf Steiner's The Philosophy of Freedom. The title page of The Philosophy of Freedom says, "A modern philosophy of life developed by scientific methods." What are scientific methods? The scientific method is a series of steps taken to acquire knowledge about the world we live in. The first step is to observe something of interest. When a thinking person observes the world, questions arise. The next step is to form a theory, a hypothesis, to explain the observed phenomena. You assume the theory is true, but it has not yet been tested, verified, or proven to be correct. At this point, the theory is merely a belief, faith, an educated guess, or a hunch. The third step is to acquire practical experience by testing the theory in real life. When we apply the theory to life, do we get the expected results? The final step is to draw conclusions by analyzing what we learn from working with the theory in real life. Is the theory, as we understand it, true, or does it need to be modified? Are the results repeatable? Have we found a general principle that will apply to other cases? Now let's look to the philosophy of freedom to see how it relates to the scientific method. In Chapter 2, The Fundamental Desire for Knowledge, we learn that we all have a natural urge to strive for knowledge. In the chapter introduction, it says that sense perception does not satisfy our need to know. Every look at the world raises questions. Nowhere are we satisfied with what nature displays before our senses. We look everywhere for what we call an explanation of the facts. As soon as we begin to think and produce our own thought content, our thoughts contrast with the perceived world. We each form our own opinions. This separates us from others. We become dissatisfied with how the world appears to us. Our existence is split in two. Our inner thought world opposes the outer perceived world. What we add splits our entire existence into two parts. The universe appears to us as two opposing sides, self and world. This separation is the problem of knowledge. It causes us to strive for unity. Only when we have made the world content into our thought content do we find again the unity from which we have separated ourselves. The problem of knowledge is resolved when we find unity by turning the world content into our thought content. This unity with the world is attained by using the scientific method. Here's a diagram of a four-step scientific method. There are four factors for acquiring knowledge. The scientific method makes the world content into our thought content. On the side of the world content is the observation of world phenomena. We live in a world of natural phenomena that can be described and explained. Also on the side of the world content is our real experience of the external world, where we test our theories. We are surrounded by an external world that we can see and think about, and thus gather practical experience. On the side of thought content is the inner world of the mind, where we form our theories. We place ourselves within the mind. Also on the side of thought is the world of ideas, where we form our conclusions and discover principles and ideals that operate in the world. We form progressive ideas of development and growth. By moving through the four factors of the scientific method, we integrate ourself with the world. We gain knowledge when our thought corresponds with the world. This is explained more clearly by studying Chapter 2. Each step is located in its own domain of existence. We enter and experience these domains by directing our attention to them. Step 1 is the domain of natural phenomena. Step 2, the domain of mind and self. Step 3, the domain of the seen external world. And Step 4, the domain of ideas and ideals. Now let's compare this to the first 4 topics in Chapter 2, and we can see that they match up. Topic 2.1 is materialism, which is a study of the natural world of phenomena. Topic 2.2 is spiritism, which is a discussion of spiritual theory produced solely out of the mind. This is the place of all unverified theories accepted on faith. Topic 2.3 is a discussion of realism and the practical experience gained by looking outward into the external world. Topic 2.4 is idealism. It is about forming ideal thought pictures of the world. What is different in the philosophy of freedom is that these 4 factors of the scientific method are discussed separately in their one-sided state. They are not presented as a 4-step process. Each step is separately described and then criticized for the shortcomings due to one-sidedness. It is up to the reader to put the chapter in motion by connecting the separate topics so as to reveal the complete scientific method. The remaining 8 topics in the chapter describe different relationships between these 4 main factors of the scientific method. So you can see that a broad-minded use of the scientific method is the way to pursue knowledge. We overcome our separation by integrating ourselves into the world by acquiring knowledge with the scientific method. We can identify our own one-sidedness by asking ourselves, what kind of knowledge will convince me of something? Are we convinced of something by seeing the results of scientific research? Are we convinced by spiritual revelation or other unproven theories? Or are we only convinced by our own experience? Or do we need to be convinced by ideas and idealistic pictures of the world? To gain knowledge of the true nature of the world, we need to overcome one-sided materialism, spiritualism, realism, and idealism by learning how to use the scientific method. I will go into more detail and show how all 12 chapter topics relate to the scientific method in upcoming videos.